Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Heart Talks with Dr. Gloria. I'm Dr. Gloria Thomas Anderson, and today we're going to be talking with Carlotta Winston about finding peace after going through divorce. So I'm really excited about her being with us to tell her story, and I hope that you enjoy this conversation that I have with Miss Carlotta. Welcome, Carlotta. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. I hope you are.
Doing great. Thank you for joining us today just to share a little bit around what divorce is like for you as a young mother and how you're finding peace in this situation. I know that statistically 41 to 51% of all marriages end in divorce, which is unfortunate. But did you ever think that you would be a statistic in that group?
No, I don't think anyone ever plans to divorce. I don't think that's ever a part of it. But I was a statistic, sadly, before divorce. I grew up in a single parent home. My mother, an African American single mother, at that raised me. So I didn't really get to see healthy relationship lived before me. So my platform itself kind of started off a little rough. So no, to answer your question, I didn't plan to be a statistic, but here we are.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about your story. Just, how did you come through that whole process? What was that like for you when you realized that the marriage was not going to work?
In order to answer that question, I have to give you the background of all of it. As a young woman, growing up, like I said, with the single parent mom and not having healthy male relationship, I had no idea what to expect in a marriage, let alone a healthy relationship. My dad wasn't there. And so whatever relationship that came around, as long as it wasn't physically harming me, I accepted it. And so when my ex-husband and I met, I saw a really great man, a really great provider, who had a similar background, and we just connected. So I would say initially, even before marriage, our relationship wasn't the best, but we accepted it because it was something and having something, if that makes sense.
When you say that it was something and having something, what
Mhm.
does that actually mean when you say that? It might be good to explain
So
what
what
that means.
what I mean by that is, I've never had a healthy relationship. I've never had a relationship to really say a committed relationship. So to actually find someone even worth giving my time to me was a bonus. I met my ex-husband when I was 18. I was a freshman in college. I had not even lived life yet. So to have met him, it was everything for me. I really didn't have anything to compare it to. So to actually have someone, it was better than not having someone.
I understand that. I do. I understand that. I can relate in some ways to that. I myself have gone through divorce, and it's not an easy thing. I never expected it, nor did I want that. But life happens sometimes in ways that we can also grow apart. And in that learning who we are, we also learn that some of the things that we thought would work for us may not work. So yeah, continue. Tell us a little more.
Yeah, so I guess to answer your question, going through divorce was challenging. It definitely was challenging. I actually thought the divorce would be a lot easier than the relationship, and that says a lot. We were together for almost 10 years. I decided to separate from my ex-husband in November of 2017, and I really didn't want to do that. My whole life, as a kid, you dream of your dream marriage, your life, the picture perfect home, and your car and 2 kids and a dog, and you just divorce isn't something you plan for. So after years of us going through arguing and not really being friends, And for me as a woman, I had no idea what it meant to be even a woman. My mother showed me how to be a survivor. She showed me how, when push comes to shove, if you don't have the money, you make it work. I learned that from her, but I didn't learn how to be a woman. I didn't learn those qualities. I didn't understand how to love yourself and to have that mentality of, if you love yourself, if you care for yourself, if you respect and value yourself, then when you get into a relationship, whether it's with a male or a friendship, then you'll be able to see that same respect, that same love, that same value in that relationship. And I didn't have that. I didn't even know where to start. And so my divorce was challenging, where I literally came from my teenage years into adulthood and then to motherhood. Before we got married, we actually had our daughter. She's 9 now. I gave birth to her April Fool's Day of 2011. September of 2011, we were married. I was still very young, and I still didn't give myself time to grow and nurture myself. And then I introduced a child and a marriage. But divorce was challenging for a few reasons. I came from my mom taking care of me the best that she could, to my ex-husband basically paying the bills. I went through college and graduated through a marriage. And I had no idea how to budget, no idea how to save money. And so when I decided to separate, emotionally it was challenging just as much as it was physically, mentally, and financially, because these were new things. When we have unfamiliar circumstances, it can be scary. So
Yeah.
definitely emotionally, it was a lot more challenging than the actual marriage. Even though we saw physical abuse, verbal abuse in the actual marriage, not knowing if you'll be able to sustain by yourself was a challenge for me. But before I decided to separate, I'm very spiritual. I grew up in church, and so I prayed. And I think I shared with you one day, the last day, our last argument, I couldn't take it anymore. It's like my world stopped, literally. And I heard, it's time to let go. I said, well, God, if that's your voice, I need you to show me every single step to get in the house, to financially taking care of myself, to budgeting, to, I need all the things that I have now. And he has. It was challenging,
Yeah.
but I made it through, and our divorce finalized March 4th of last year. So this March officially made a year as a divorcee. And it's had its good days, and it's had its challenging days. The challenging for me is the fact that we have children in between it. I don't think divorce is fun for anyone, whether there's children involved or not. But I definitely think it's a lot more challenging when you do have children involved, because both parents deserve to have the children. But how do you split a human being? Then make sure that human being is mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially well taken care of.
Right.
And if anything has been the challenge, if anything has challenged me mentally and emotionally, it's that.
Yeah.
No one wants to create another generation of a statistic. You know what I
Right.
mean?
And when you say that dividing the children, I understand that too. My girls were very small when I went through my divorce with their dad, and I remember writing a poem around what about the children, because they have to be here, they have to be there. There's two sets of rules. There's different households. Sometimes other individuals are involved in the lives of their spouses or their parents, right? And so there's so much to consider in that sense. One of the things that I feel is really important, as you pointed out earlier, is being able to find peace within yourself and understanding and valuing yourself, and not taking blame or feeling guilty that things didn't work out. Even though sometimes I understand, the religious values that go with that, in terms of some of the Christian values and beliefs that, divorce is not from God, and that sort of thing. I don't get into those kinds of arguments, because I believe God is greater and bigger to understand all of life, even that which I don't understand, right? And so how did you get to this place after going through those fears, after going through these challenges of what you experienced, to getting to that place of finding the peace after the divorce?
I reference the moment of me praying and hearing God say, it's time to let go. When I heard him give me that permission to let go, I said, God, I'm going to have to trust you through everything, through the whole process, literally every single thing. To finding my home, I prayed about it. And financially, I thought I would be paying $800-900, a month for rent. And this home that I found was in a good neighborhood. The actual rent then was cheaper. It was everything. It was a safe place for my child and my dog to live. To my vehicle, he told me to not take anything because he was going to replace everything. And he has done that plus some. I definitely will say that most of my peace, 97% of my peace is through my religion, through my faith,
Your faith.
through giving it all to God, because I don't know how in the world I'm doing it.
Yes,
But every single aspect of my new life definitely is geared through that, because when you have the favor of him, there's nothing that can get in your way. He sent people my way to teach me how to budget,
yes,
to teach me how to save, to teach me how to, to be a better woman, to be a better mother. And for the things that I cannot control,
yes.
um, he told me to give it to him. I think that's Matthew 14:28. I can't remember right now off the top of my head, but where his yoke is light, and when we have a heavy burden, to just give it to him and he'll
Oh,
take
yeah,
it.
that's Matthew 11:28 and 29, I think, where it says, come unto me, all ye that are heavy laden, and I will give you rest, and my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for my yoke is easy and my burdens are light.
Wow.
And I, on that note, I know our time is short. I really want to let you know how much I appreciate you for being so honest and sharing your heart about this. I'm sure there are people that will listen to this, young people who are going through similar situations that can really relate to what you're saying in your story. And so I just want to thank you, Carlotta, for doing this and sharing your story with us. And I pray blessings upon you and your children, and that even greater growth in God comes into your life as you continue to journey through this single parenthood, that God would continue to open doors for you and give you great favor and blessings and protection. So thank you again, my dear, for just sharing with us today.
Thank you for allowing me to come on and speak. I definitely appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you, listeners. Thank you so much, Inspiring Insights community, for just sharing in this time with us today. One of the things that when God gave me this ministry to do online through Facebook, it was to offer an opportunity for people who want to be encouraged to encourage others. And so I thank each of you for being a part of this community. I do invite you from my whole heart to let me know what kinds of topics that you want us to talk about, and even what you would like to see. I'm so willing to look at that, to bring inspiration and encouragement to your lives and to the lives of those that you encourage. Thank you so much for being a part of this segment with Heart Talks with Dr. Gloria, and I look forward to the next time that we're together to share in inspiring hearts and encouraging souls. God bless you.